Today we have a moveset video guide on how to use Baxcalibur, the new pseudo-legendary of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Big fan of this Pokemon. Dragon and Ice, just like Kyurem, an incredible Pokemon. Pretty good stats all around, right? Like I guess it has average speed and average defenses, but the 115 HP and the 145 attack is really what makes this Pokemon solid. If you do enjoy these videos, make sure you let me know by leaving a like and also subscribe to the channel. On my way to 400k and I upload videos like this every single day. I have a shut on live later. I uploaded with this Pokemon yesterday, so if you want to see it in action, definitely check it out. So Thermal Exchange is a signature ability, and this ability raises its attack by 1 when it's hit with a fire move, and it also can't be burnt. This is pretty cool because you're immune to Will-O-Wisp. Also, if something's going for Flamethrower versus you, you get +1 attack. This is also nice because you can Terrasilize into just pure Dragon while still keeping your Ice Stab, resist the fire move, get your +1 attack on top of the first set we have here, which is Dragon Dance. So the first set is Dragon Dance with Heavy Duty Boots. Heavy Duty Boots is your item of choice because this Pokemon is weak to Stealth Rock, so this allows you to avoid damage from Stealth Rock, Toxic Spikes, and Spikes, also the Speed Drop from Sticky Web. I went for Jolly Max Speed because it allows to outspeed Choice Scarf Goldengo, which is a pretty common Choice Scarf for right now because it blocks Defog and does everything like that. So Dragon Dance, Icicle Crash, Glaive Rush, and this move is so good because it is your physical. It's basically better than Dragon Claw, and it's like Outrage, but you're not locked in. Your next turn, attacks versus you can't miss, and they do double the damage. Now this is okay because you're using it as a Dragon Dance Pokemon. So for the most part, when you are Dragon Dancing up with it, your opponent's not going to be able to get off attacks unless they're priority versus you. So either way, it's still a good move in general. It's still stronger than Dragon Claw, and you're not locked into the move Outrage versus Pokemon that are Steel types or Fairy types, which would obviously be immune to it and knock you out with a Fairy type attack. So I like that a lot. Ice plus Dragon is really good coverage when combined with Steel. Steel gives you the, Ground, because it gives you the ability to deal with Steel types, and it's just a really, really fast, easy way of using Baxcalibur. This Pokemon, you can put it on Sticky Web. When I used this Pokemon specifically, I paired it with Iron Valiant, and Iron Valiant was able to weaken Pokemon like Corviknight and weaken Pokemon like Clodsire and stuff that would like to come in on you. You definitely want Hazards with this Pokemon as well because while it is strong at base 145, everything's really bulky in this generation, so you really want to have Spikes and Stealth Rock. Glimmora is a great partner to get up Stealth Rock to also Mortal Spin away Hazards. You can also have Tinglu to get up Spikes. Garchomp can get up Stealth Rock and Spike, all really good with this Pokemon in general. And then you want something that can deal with the fighting type attacks aimed at it, which is why I paired it with Iron Valiant because they were really, really strong together. Now we have Swords Dance. So Swords Dance can be on And the reason you use Glaive Rush Terra type is because you get immune to that. You're resistant to you're neutral. You're neutral to the fighting type stab moves like Priority Mach Punch coming at you, and also again you're resistant to that fire. So Swords Dance is pretty cool. I would pair this thing with Sticky Web. If you want to use a Spidops, you can. Also, if you want to use like Mask of Rain with Sticky Web, things like that too, which is how I tested it out. But you can either run Swords Dance with heavy duty boots or Never Melts Ice. Never Melts Ice really boosting that Ice Stab even further, especially because we're using Terra type Ice on this, right? So the set is Swords Dance, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Earthquake. You're forgoing Dragon Stab on this move just because you're really focusing on that priority Ice Shard, which can help you deal with faster Pokemon like Dragapult, or also be able to get out there before Breloom can Mach Punch you because you're fast in this, so your priority goes before it. And also boosting your Icicle Crash to be able to break through defensive walls like Corviknight and Clodsire, Underwear Clodsire even more. By Terra typing in Ice, you get the 2-time stab instead of 1.5 times stab, and also you're still straight up weak to fire, so you got to be careful, but you can Swords Dance in this mode and be neutral to fire. And then Earthquake, again, allowing you to deal with the Steel types that would otherwise resist your Ice moves. Ice and Ground is a tried and true combo. Look at Mamoswine and Piloswine. Incredible. And it's just really good at breaking. And again, this thing's biggest concern is speed, so Sticky Web is very good. So you want partners that can use Sticky Web. Now, I'm going to do that one in a sec, but I couldn't do this without, I know I'm going to get a 10 million comments saying, yo, try Loaded Dice on this Pokemon. All right, we did. It's all right. So Loaded Dice is the new move the new item in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that allows it, holders 5-hit, multi-attacks will always hit at least 4 times. Basically, yes. So you have a higher chance of hitting 5 5 times basically, because you're always going to hit at least 4. So you hit 4 to 5 times, which means your Icicle Spear is very, very strong, especially if you combine it with Terra type Ice. So obviously it's a one-time use item though. If it was like a held item that you can keep using and using, it would be way better. But loaded dice, Dragonet's up, and you have your Glaive Rush, your Earthquake, standard combo that we talked about in the previous one. And then Icicle Spear. And Icicle Spear is really nice because with the Terra Ice and loaded dice, you basically knock out Corviknight at +1, right? As long as you get, your strong hits and you have your Terra type into Ice, like it's just a nuke. It is a one-time nuke. And then from there, Icicle Spear is still not a bad move because it can't miss, and you're at least doing 2 hits on average. So it's a really one-time nuke. It's really fun. I think this can also really work nicely in like VGC and Battle Stadium 3v3. I would actually use this more so in Battle Stadium 3v3 than I would in 6v6 OU, mainly because there's only 3 Pokemon. So if I can go up 3-2 immediately, and it's even better there because a lot of those Pokemon run Focus Sash, so being able to break through their Focus Sashes with Icicle Spear and having the strong hit, I think is a lot better for Baxcalibur. So 3v3 Battle Stadium singles, I think this is a better set. Otherwise, I think Heavy Duty Boots plus Dragonet's Icicle Crash is superior in OU. But this, in Battle Stadium 3v3, looks amazing. Then we have Choice Band. Now, Choice Band just takes advantage of the fact that 145 base attack, very strong moves in 120 Glaive Rush, and Icicle Crash is 85, and you have Earthquake at 100, and you have your Ice Shard priority. So I like Terra Dragon type with this too, because a lot of Pokemon that try to come in like Dondozo with Unaware, or like Clodsire, if they have like some combination of that, if you Terra type into your Dragon and stuff, they are not switching to ever. Like they do not switch into this Pokemon at all with a Choice Band. And it's so nice because, you're resistant. Well, you lost your Ice Stealth Rock weakness, right? Because your Ice type, you are 25% for Stealth Rock. You lost that Stealth Rock weakness. You become Pure Dragon, and Pure Dragon has so many beautiful resistances: fire, grass, electric, etc. And you're not weak to fighting anymore. So, and because Ice basically doesn't add on any resistances to the Pokemon. The only thing Ice adds on is fire neutrality, and then also the Ice neutrality, which is whatever, right? In this metagame, you're still bulky enough to be able to take on like a Ice Spinner from a Chiempao as long as it's not boosted. But with your Dragon Ice, you could obviously do that just as well. But you can also take a Sacred Sword too. So Glaive Rush with a Choice Band is incredibly powerful. You have Icicle Crash as your main move, and Ice Shard again for that priority. Being able to pick off a Dragon Pole, I think, is very important. And I think I always like to run Jolly on this Pokemon, specifically because of Goldengo. If Goldengo wasn't such a metagame-defining Pokemon, which it is, you would run probably Adamant, or you'd test out Adamant, even though the Swords set. But I just think because Goldengo is such a metagame-defining Pokemon, and that it's there on every team because of its ability to block Spore, Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, basically status, but also Defog and Whirlwind and things like that. It's just a staple. Speaking of which, it's a great partner if you ran it with this, because you definitely want Spikes and Stealth Rock from Pokemon like Gamora, Garchomp, Tinglu, etc. So Goldengo, Baxcalibur. Goldengo basically fits on every type of team, and Baxcalibur with it is no exception. And being able to take the close combats aimed at Baxcalibur and the fighting type attacks and the fairy type attacks, really, really strong. And lastly, we have Sub Storage Dance. This takes advantage of more fatter teams. And if you Terra type Steel, you also don't have to worry about Dragon and Fairy type attacks trying to kill you after. So, Sub Swords Dance, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, leftovers from the longevity. You can easily substitute on something like Toxapex, which cannot break your sub, and you avoid the Toxic with Substitute. You Swords Dance up, you hit them with Earthquake, +2. You do so much damage, if not kill them, depending on their EV spreads. If they haze, you can SD up again because they can't break your sub. You sub to avoid Cloudsire's Toxic as well. And again, being Steel type, when something like Iron Valiant comes, or like Dragon Ball comes to revenge you with its Dragon Darts or Draco Meteor, especially because it does have Infiltrator, so it doesn't care about sub. You Terrasilize the Steel just to have those defensive capabilities to tank the hit and pick up a KO versus that. Also, Terrasilizing Steel lets you take on Chiempal's Icicle Crash or Ice Spinner as well, just giving you those nice resistances and allowing you to use your SD set. But that's basically all I have. That's basically all I have with the movesets with Baxcalibur. It has a really cool move pool. It doesn't really have the special attack to make use of like Draco Meteor and things like that. I'm sure some type of Assault Vest set could work with 115 HP and 86 as well, with like Dragon Tail as the last move. But I don't think the metagame has like stabilized to a point where I think that's necessary. And I'm sure you could use Terra Blast with something too, but being at 80 base power and most of your moves being 80 or higher anyway, I don't think that's necessary either. But yeah, that's all I have. I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And that's it. Goodbye.